What if I told you that you can own a piece of this fertile agricultural land in Antalya, Turkey, starting at just $3 per square meter? Real land, organic, fully connected, with electricity, water, internet, and gas already provided. And foreigners can legally buy it. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this land looks like in real footage, what the buying process is for foreigners, what the legal rules are, what it costs, and what you can actually build here. Nobody is talking about this in the Antalya real estate space, but after this video, you will know more about than most local agents do. Let's go. Before we get into the detail, I want to say something quickly. Every single week, I work with foreigners from Europe, the Gulf, the UK, and all over the world who are researching not just apartments in Antalya, but something different. Land, nature, a slower pace of life, the chance to grow their own food, build something of their own. If that sounds like you, even a little bit, I want you to know you are not alone. And this is absolutely something you can do here in Turkey as a foreigner. All of my contact information is in the description below this video. Whether you have a specific question about a plot, you want to arrange a viewing, or you just want to understand if this is even realistic for your situation, please reach out. I get back to every single person personally. But now, let me show you what we are actually talking about. Let me start by describing exactly what we are looking at here. The agricultural land I'm going to walk you through today sits in the greater Antalya region, in areas within the inner districts, away from the coastal tourist areas, but still very much within reach of the city. Its hospitals, its international airport, and its schools. Some of these plots are within 30 to 45 minutes of central Antalya. Others are closer to 1 hour. And that distance is precisely what keeps the prices extraordinary, because you are trading beach views for something completely different. Peace, space, fresh air, and some of the most fertile soil in the entire Mediterranean scene. Look around. This is what surrounds these plots. Mountains, clean air, natural water resources, and the Taurus Mountains in the background that you simply cannot escape, no matter which direction you turn. The land here is classified as agriculture land, and that classification is important because it comes with both specific benefits and specific rules that I'm going to walk you through very carefully in this video. The soil quality in this part of Antalya is genuinely extraordinary. This region has supported agriculture for thousands of years. Olives, citrus, pomegranates, walnuts, figs, tomatoes, peppers. The list of what grows here naturally is almost absurd. If you have ever dreamed of walking out your door and picking your own breakfast, these are the kinds of landscapes where that becomes completely realistic. And one of the most impressive things about many of these plots, they are not remote. They are not off-grid in the challenging sense. Electricity is connected, water is connected, internet reaches these areas, gas is available. This is country living with modern infrastructure, and that combination is genuinely rare at this price point anywhere in the Mediterranean. Let me talk about price, because I know that is what most of you are here for. The starting price for agricultural land in some of these areas of the Antalya region genuinely begins at around $3 per square meter. I want to be clear about what that means in real terms so you can actually visualize it. 1,000 square meter, that is 1/10 of a hectare. At $3 per square meter costs you $3,000. 5,000 square meters, half a hectare, at $3 per square meter is $15,000. At that size, you have room for a genuine kitchen garden and orchard, a small structure and open land beyond it. A full hectare, 10,000 square meters, at the base rate would be $30,000. That is a genuinely serious agricultural property by an international standard, for a price that most people in Western Europe spend on a used car. Now, and I want to be honest with you here, prices vary depending on the specific location, existing planting, proximity to water resources, and the overall infrastructure of the area. $3 per square meter is a real starting price for more remote agricultural plots. Well-located plots closer to the city or with mature orchards already planted will price higher. Practically speaking, The range is enormous, and that is exactly why understanding your specific goals before you look at listings makes a significant difference. What I can tell you with confidence is that, by any international comparison, agricultural land in this region of Turkey is still genuinely extraordinary value. Land with this kind of climate, this kind of soil quality, and this kind of connected infrastructure simply doesn't exist at these prices anywhere else in the Mediterranean. Now, let me answer the question that I know is at the top of every foreign buyer's mind right now. Can foreigners actually buy agricultural land in Turkey? The answer is yes, but with specific conditions that you absolutely must understand before you begin any search. So let me walk you through this carefully. Foreigners are legally permitted to purchase agricultural land in Turkey under Turkish property law. The rules that apply are slightly different from buying a residential apartment, and they matter, so pay close attention. First, the size limit. Foreign nationals are capped at purchasing a maximum of 300 hectares of agricultural land within Turkey in total across all purchases. For the vast majority of foreign buyers looking at plots in the range we are discussing today, 1 to 10 hectares, this limit is completely irrelevant in practice, but I mentioned it because it's a legal boundary. Second, the military clearance requirement. Any property purchased by a foreign national in Turkey, agriculture or residential, requires clearance confirming the land doesn't fall within a military restricted zone. This process runs in the background and is handled by your notary and title deed office. But it does add time to the transaction. Depending on the region, this can take anywhere from few days to few weeks. Budget for it in your timeline. Third, there are certain agriculture zones where additional permissions from the Ministry of Agriculture are required before a foreign national can complete a purchase. Not all agricultural land falls into this category. In fact, most straightforward rural plots don't, but some protected agricultural classifications do require an extra approval step. This is why working with a local agent is genuinely essential for agricultural purchases, not optional advice. Fourth, and this is important for anyone who has done some research already, there is a difference between agricultural land, forest land, and protected nature zones. Forest land and protected areas carry significantly stricter restrictions and in many cases cannot be sold to foreign nationals at all. The land I'm showing you in this video is agricultural land specifically, which falls under the category where foreign purchases are permitted with the conditions I just described. Also, something very important. In Turkey, you cannot buy the land and just leave it for 10-15 years without doing anything on it. You have to plant something on that land. Most of my clients, they are planting their lands with trees like walnuts, avocados, almonds, or this kind of trees to first protect the land and second to get profit from it. And that is really very profitable with minimum following up. So the short answer is yes, foreigners can buy. Yes, there are rules, but those rules are not prohibitive for the kinds of plots most buyers are looking at. But you do need proper legal guidance throughout the process, and I cannot stress that strongly enough. So you have found a plot you love. You have confirmed foreigners can purchase it. Now the question everyone is asking, what can you actually build on agricultural land in Turkey? Turkish planning law is quite specific here, and I want to give you the honest picture rather than the overly optimistic version some sellers present. On agricultural land in Turkey, there are restrictions on what can be built. Agricultural land is designated for agricultural use, and building permanent large residential structures on it without conversion is not straightforwardly permitted. However, and this is what it gets interesting, Turkish law does allow for certain structures on agricultural land that serve an agricultural purpose. Specifically, you can build an agricultural building. This can legitimately include a small house or farmhouse or residential structure attached to the agriculture operation. Storage buildings, greenhouses, animal shelters, and irrigation infrastructure, and so on. The permitted building footprint on agricultural land is generally a maximum of around 5% of the total land area, with a specific height limits and setback requirements that vary by municipal zone and land classification. So on a 1 hectare plot, you might be permitted to build a structure of up to 500 square meters of footprint, which is genuinely enough for a comfortable country house with storage and outbuildings. The honest takeaway here is this: agricultural land in this part of Antalya is genuinely well suited to country living at this permitted level. Many buyers are building beautiful, comfortable farmhouses with gardens and orchards on these plots within existing rules. It is not a city apartment lifestyle, it's something better if country living is what you actually want. Some of my clients have those lands only for weekends or for very hot days in Antalya. They go there every week once or maybe twice a month. Some other of my clients buy like minimum land possible, like 5,000 square meters, and they can build up to 250 square meters, and this is also enough for them. Let me take a moment away from the legal and the financial, because I think the most powerful thing I can do right now is simply show you what this land is like on a daily basis. What is growing here? A lot of things: walnuts, avocados, almonds, and most of this grows without any intervention because the soil and the climate in this part of Antalya have supported exactly this kind of products for literally thousands of years. The organic food situation here is not something you have to create. It is something you inherit when you buy land like this. The soil is genuinely fertile. The air is clean. Water resources, natural springs and streams exist throughout this region. For the people I work with who are looking at plots like this, the conversation is almost never purely financial. It's about a different relationship with the land they live on. It's about growing their own food and knowing exactly where it came from. It's about waking up in a place where the first thing you hear in the morning is not traffic, but birds. This is a real lifestyle that real foreigners are already living in the areas surrounding Antalya. There are established communities of European, Gulf, and Russian residents who moved here 5, 10, 15 years ago and who have built exactly the kind of life I'm describing right now. The Antalya region has over 300 days of sunshine per year. The growing season here is among the longest in the entire European and Mediterranean region. You can grow year-round, not just in summer. And the variety of what you can grow in this specific climate is genuinely extraordinary. Citrus, olive, nuts, fruits, tropical fruits, vegetables, herbs, and more. I'm not trying to paint an unrealistic picture of complete self-sufficiency from day one. Buying agricultural land and building a genuine working farm takes time, knowledge, and sustained effort. But the foundations, the soil, the climate, the water, the infrastructure are already here. That is what makes this such a rare opportunity. Let me close with describing the practical overview of how buying agricultural land as a foreigner in Antalya actually works. From your first inquiry to having the title deed in your name. Step 1 is finding the right plot. This sounds obvious, but it matters enormously. Agricultural plots vary widely in terms of soil quality, water availability, road access, existing vegetation, proximity to services, and legal classification. Working with someone who knows this specific market and who can physically take you to the land is the most valuable thing you can do at this stage. Step 2 is due diligence. Before any money changes hands, you need a full title deed check, confirmation of the agricultural classification, verification that no military zone restrictions apply, and survey confirming the exact boundaries of the parcel. This step is non-negotiable for agricultural land specifically, since boundary disputes and classification issues are more common in rural land than in residential property. Step 3 is the legal process. You will need a Turkish tax identification number, a Turkish bank account, and a certified translation of your passport at minimum. A qualified Turkish property real estate agent should review all documentation before you sign anything. Step 4 is the title deed transfer at the Turkish land registry. Once all approvals are in place, including any required military clearance, both parties appear at the land registry office. The transfer is completed and the title deed is issued in your name. At that point, the land is yours. Step 5 is what comes next. Whether you are Planting immediately, planning a structure, or simply holding the land as an investment. Having a clear plan for the first 12 months after purchase makes the transition considerably smoother. The full process from identifying a plot to receiving your title deed typically takes 2 to 4 months for a straightforward agricultural purchase. Complex situations or plot requiring additional ministerial can take longer. And throughout all of this, I am here to guide you. This is exactly what I do. That is your complete guide to buying agricultural land in Antalya as a foreigner. What it looks like, what it costs, and what the legal rules are, and what life on land like this actually feels alike. If any part of what you saw in this video speaks to you, and I mean even a small part of you, even just a curiosity, please reach out to me using the link in the description below. I can tell you what plots are currently available, arrange a real viewing so you can walk the land yourself, and connect you with the right legal team to make the purchase safely and properly. People contact me every week who thought owning land like this was completely out of reach, and they are genuinely surprised to discover how accessible this actually is. The video I recommend you watch next is my full guide to moving to Antalya as a foreigner, because once you see this land, many people start thinking about the bigger picture of what a life here could look like. That video is linked on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing content like this from the Antalya real estate market, and I will see you in the next one.